So our guest speaker that we have coming on, she is amazing. I really got a chance to really connect with her at the global conference that we went to, and I was blown away by her personal story. So I didn't say her name yet, but please share your oil story too. I'm going to ask her to do that. Since then, she's one of the top silvers on our team, one of the top enrollers month after month, and she is enrolled in Diamond Club. So this girl is headed for Diamond and beyond. So I'm really excited to bring in Laurie Rowe to our call. Okay, so let me bring her on here. I'm improving her. All right, Laurie, welcome. Super pumped that you're on.
Hi, that's so sweet. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I was just checking. Yes. So
okay, great.
Thanks for getting on. And I asked Laurie to get on here to share some of her business tips and tricks and what's been working. She is also works with a lot of professionals, and I just love that part of your story. But also, Laurie, I don't know if you got this or not, but I was blown away by your oil story with your daughter. And so I was hoping that you can share your oil story and then your business story and tips.
Okay, sure. So are you talking about the DDR Prime or the Peace Oil?
Oh, well, they're both good. Maybe both if you can quickly, because they're powerful. As soon as I talked to you, I came home and I was telling everyone about the DDR Prime, and I bought it myself, and like that was really inspiring to me.
Okay, yeah, I'll be glad to share that one. So today's MLK Day, as everybody knows, and most people.
Oh, we're losing you.
Yeah,
there we go.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yep. So everybody's probably home with their kids, and I actually came over to my mom's house for a little while. So they're in the other room and they're watching me. So my sweet little Daisy may hear me talk about her. I have a daughter. I have a 9-year-old son, Carter, and I have a set of 4.5-year-old twin girls. And one of my girls, Daisy, has had 2 brain surgeries, and she deals with some trauma on the brain and a lot of anxiety and several other things that I won't go into. And last April, I was in Utah with Elise Chedevi whenever we did the elite retreat. And I asked her, I said, what in the world would you recommend for someone like my daughter? And she said, well, I would recommend the DDR Prime. And I had no idea what she was talking about because I only knew of the DDR Prime as an option in pill form. And I also had heard it be referred to as for older people. And so I immediately went online and saw that they had just the regular bottle of oil. I say regular, it's a 30 milliliter, so it's not even a 15 milliliter. It's $55 for a 30 milliliter bottle of oil. And so I bought it. And when I got home, I started diffusing it in her room, and I really don't know what I was looking for. I just was diffusing it. And whatever I was looking for, I didn't find it. Nothing happened. Nothing magical happened. And that was around the end of April. So we did that for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then in the end of the month, we went on vacation. And when we came back, I decided to use it again. And I decided to put it on her feet this time and her spine. And so what I did was I took 10 drops of the DDR Prime, and I put it in a 10 milliliter roller bottle, and then I filled it up with a fractionated coconut oil, and every night I would roll it on her spine, and I would put it on her feet. And it started on a Sunday night, and on Monday morning she woke up and she wanted to color, which for a 4-year-old on summer vacation is not unusual. And so what we did was we started coloring. And what I noticed that week was that every single day she was obsessed with coloring. And I don't mean like a casual, I want to color, like annoying, like over and over again. I mean, she would go for hours wanting to color. And I remember that Monday morning coming down and looking at what she was coloring and thinking, oh my goodness, the colors don't match up. It's very monochromatic. Everything was purple. It was very much out of the lines. And I just remember thinking to myself, we have such a long ways to go. And by Friday morning, she had colored obsessively all week long, even so much that one night she just wouldn't even go to bed. She wanted to color. So I just let her color in bed until she fell asleep. And on Friday morning, she woke up before the rest of the house, and I came downstairs and I found her at the kitchen table coloring. And what was on the page that she had colored was mind-blowing. She had colored very multidimensional. All of the colors were exactly where they belonged on that page, and everything was inside the line. And I called my husband down. I said, you have to see this. Is this my imagination? Like, look at what she did on Monday and look at what she's done today. And we both just were really blown away. And I said, the only thing that has happened this week is that we're using this DDR prime on her spine. And that's the only thing I can imagine could be different. So I then showed it to her preschool director just to kind of like for validation. Like, am I crazy? Am I just really proud of my daughter? And the preschool director said, you're kidding. That is not the coloring of a 4-year-old. Like, that is really good. So that was in that was in early June. And then in August, we put our girls in the same bedroom. And so by default, I was rubbing the DDR prime on one girl at night. So I decided to rub it on the other one. And I kid you not, a week later, the other twin went through a coloring spell. And there was one Sunday where she sat on the couch for 7 hours straight and did not stop coloring. So I don't know that everybody will have like a overly zealous colorer on their hands, but I do think that there's something about the DDR prime that is just remarkable. I have a couple on my team. They have 2 9-year-old autistic twins. When they started using the DDR prime, within 24 to 48 hours, they noticed a significant difference. Their daughter was previously not even able to be in a different room from her mom, and her mom went looking for her because she couldn't find her, and she was in a room on her own putting together a 500-piece puzzle. And the mom said, this is not my daughter. And so they won't let their children go a single day without the DDR prime because they see that much of a difference, and their teachers notice it too. So that's our DDR prime story.
And that was questions about that? In a 10 milliliter, right?
So I just put for children, and honestly, I use it for myself like this too. 10 milliliter, or in a 10 milliliter roller, I put 10 drops of the DDR prime, and then I just fill it up with the fractionated coconut oil. And I rub it on the back of the necks and then up and down the spine. And sometimes I do it on the feet, but not always. And now if I'm really on top of things on the way to school or before they leave for school in the morning, I just put it on all 3 kids. And I'll say, sorry, there's a shadow. I'm trying to avoid that. And I'll just make a comment like, hey, let's get our brain oil so our brains function well today. But that's how I refer to it, is this is our brain oil. I think it's great in that regard.
That's incredible. You're making me want to go put it on myself right now.
I know.
Wow, this is so motivating. Okay, Alice, what's the peace oil? Or share the peace story too.
Well, so my story with peace is that this same daughter has had major sleep issues. And so, of course, we've used all the sleep oils you could ever imagine. And then right before preschool or school started this past August, the night before, I decided to put Peace on everybody's feet because for those that don't know, Peace is the reassuring blend. It helps with anxiety. And within 5 minutes, she was asleep. And it wasn't just that she was asleep, it was that she was asleep without me in the bed with her, and she slept all night long. This was really a big deal. And we have now been using Peace since like August 17th. And we definitely know when we haven't used Peace oil.
Right.
I use it on her feet in the morning and I use it in the evening before bed. And once I started like kind of processing what was going on, I realized that this child was not dealing with a sleep issue like maybe many of us would deal with, just insomnia or inability to sleep. She was dealing with high anxiety because by the age of 28 months, she had been under anesthesia at least 5 times. And every time that she would awaken from anesthesia, something had happened. Twice she'd had a major brain surgery. And so to think about being in the in the mind of a 4-year-old who has been dealing with that, then they're afraid to go to sleep, and they're afraid to go to sleep without their mom because what could happen to them? And so once I realized she's dealing with anxiety, and it makes sense that once we kind of can control the anxiety, then the sleep comes. So I would encourage anybody that whether it's a 4-year-old or a 94-year-old that deals with anxiety, that Peace oil is really remarkable for anxiety.
Wow, I'm actually tearing up a little bit just because that is powerful, and I'm so glad that she's feeling that assurance. Mm-hmm. When you put the Peace oil on her feet, was that straight? Did you make it on a roller bottle, or was that the touch?
I've done both.
Mm-hmm.
I do have just the pure oil. And every once in a while, I will diffuse it, but I don't find that it's as effective when I diffuse it. I really believe that there's power in putting it on our feet. And even in my own body, I've recently started putting Serenity on my feet as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to just diffusing it, and it is giving me really deep sleep.
Hmm.
So I do think there's something about putting it on our feet, even though we want to just diffuse it sometimes. Putting it on the feet, I'm finding, is really important. So to answer your question, I will either make my own roller bottle, pretty much the same ratio, 10 drops to a 10 milliliter bottle, topped off with the fractionated
Mm-hmm.
coconut oil. But Peace was on the BOGOs recently, and I just keep, I have like probably 5 touches because I don't ever want to be without it. I have it, I just, oh, I can never seem to find one when I need one. So just knowing that I have 5 around the house
Right.
helps me think that I'll find one. So yeah,
Always
I
in your
use
back
the touches.
pocket.
I really just need to put it like behind my ear, like, a pencil or something.
Yeah. Oh, they can. I wonder if your girls can bring those like little
Yeah, that's a good idea.
or bracelets, and have it for
Yeah.
school and different things. Okay. Awesome.